Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome on into the business end of Friday's 100% division in Nitro Realistic Racing League. I am your commentator for tonight, Dave11, also known as Dave, or even Wingus, depending on how well you know me. And, well, tonight, like I said, we're in the business end. We are in the final two races. We are now in the, we are crossing the Atlantic for the final couple of races this week in Montreal, Canada. Next week, we are off to Las Vegas, where all chips must be cashed in. It will be the final race of the season. Your standings, well, Dan can be crowned world champion tonight. He really just needs a good result. Really would love to be within the top 5, maybe even top 3, just to keep it very safe indeed. But Noah is there. He is only 35 points behind. But Rendog not with us tonight. Josh, I have no grip. Also need good results, but really, really do need to kind of pull it out the back. And they need Dan Lovett to have a really awful Grand Prix. And that's going to be very, very tricky. So the top 5, well, 4 of the top 5 have stakes in this. Ryan Brooks out of the championship now, and I don't think he's with us tonight. Jabe Jameson is with us, along with Den Bliss, who had a decent debut last week. Then Connor and DGH rounding out your top 10, with 11th to 15th being Brad, Big Bruiser, F1 Mikey, Paul Codd, and Meldrum, rounding out 11th to 15th. And then 16th to 18th is Didasaur, Safe Hands, and Quan Bruh. We did falsely announce that the Constructors was all said and done. It was not. I do apologize for that. It's actually going to go into this week because Alpine actually did score some points there, which has actually kept them within touching distance of the Constructors. So now, if all they need to do is outscore Mercedes by 30 points tonight, and then they can take it into next week. But if Mercedes do have a good result tonight, if Dan gets anything above 3rd or more, that's kind of the championship for the Constructors sealed, done, and dusted. And then for the Drivers' Championship, it will probably be a bit of a hard charge from there. We'll keep an eye on the gaps as the Grand Prix goes out, but Alpine and Mercedes are in the main fight. Williams now out of it, with Racing Bulls and Sauber, well, just fighting for pride at this point. So a battle for 3rd there, going in for the final couple of rounds as well. Haas, Red Bull, Aston Martin, all in a fight for 6th. And, well, if they have an exceptional result tonight, they could go on to try and battle for 3rd, but unlikely as things stand. Then Ferrari and McLaren in a fight of their own to just stay off the bottom of the field. Qualifying is now underway. Let's just make sure we've got some sound. We certainly do. And, we'll get underway here in Montreal. It is a 2.7 mile circuit, which rounds up to about 4.3 kilometers. The race lap record, as of my notes, is by Valtteri Bottas with a 1:13.078. So that's a race lap record back in 2019. Opened back in 1978, was originally named the Notre Dame Circuit in reference to the actual island it is on. This is called the Notre Dame Island, but then was quickly, after, well, I think it was 2 years or something like that. It was, 4 years, beg your pardon. It was then changed to the Gilles Villeneuve Circuit. Unfortunately, of course, the very driver that sadly lost his life in a Belgian Grand Prix, it was back in Zolder. It was unfortunately a qualifying session. And then, ever since then, in tribute to one of the best Canadian drivers in the history of Formula 1, the circuit was lovingly renamed. And, of course, it was his son, Jacques Villeneuve, that took a title in 1997. And the last time the Williams won a Constructors' Championship. So a lot of Formula 1 history just on this track alone. Of course, no, Josh there just passing the wall of champions as a Haas there has to give way. Josh now sets the benchmark. It's a 1:11.4, and, well, we're just going to have to wait and see what drivers around him do at the moment. We've got approaching to the line a Red Bull there. That could be Matt Tudor. It is not. That's his teammate, DGH, going to the line there for another flying lap. By the way, just in case, I am watching chat tonight, and if there is any issues with audio levels, please do let me know, and I can fix those ASAP. But otherwise, I'm just going to assume for the time being things are fine and level. Quincy to the line here. Of course, his season in SSRL just got underway this week as well, and he's looking just to try and get some momentum going in his own league as well, but also try and find some good form here to end out the season with Nitro Realistic Racing League, of course, in their first season as Meldrum now next to the line. Well, Meldrum's week last week wasn't exactly the best of weeks. Meldrum qualifying, where was it here? On my notes, 8th place, and then couldn't finish that race. Already doing better, but of course, many drivers still needing to set a time as of right now. So he'll be looking to at least get one step right, and that will start with qualifying, of course. I have no grip. One of the ones I said we should watch out for last week, but sadly, when the rain came, he had absolutely nothing. He lived up to his username and so dropped through the field. He ended up finishing 8th place. He did actually start 10th, so technically an improvement as DGH goes to the line there. Top of the standings for him, and then Dan Lovett with the time there. We said it was going to be difficult to really knock Dan off that, and as things stand right now, if that is to go into the race, that is enough for the Constructors' Championship, and surely that will seal the Drivers' Championship as well. But both Alpines are here, but I have no grip might be the one that's flying the flag here, as Quincy has been off the pace throughout the season. Dan Bliss as well with a good debut here, but couldn't quite find pole position. He found, what was it? No, he did find pole position last week, beg your pardon, but he couldn't find the podium in the race. Had a 9-second penalty to serve post-race for track limit violations, and sadly that relegates him to 4th place. He's hoping for better fortunes here this week, as is his teammate Noah. Noah hoping to bring the Drivers' Championship into the final round. He's hoping for a Dan DNF. Well, he's hoping for Dan to DNF, beg your pardon, and then him to get the win. And of course, Noah, very pacey throughout the season. We'll go through his stats in just a moment. As JP there, of course, your usual commentator for NRRL, goes up to, well, what was 3rd place in the Kickstarter. And then Dan Bliss said, I'll have that, thank you very much, and gets on with the job at hand. And now his teammate Noah will follow suit as well. Just going through what is the second DRS there, second DRS zone there, of course. The next DRS zone, no, sorry, it's the first DRS zone on the lap, if you're being technical about it. 3 DRS zones here at the Gilles Villeneuve circuit. He's just passed the first one, like we've just mentioned, and now is about to approach the second one down what I do believe used to be called the Casino Straight, but of course, new rules on advertising mean that I don't think it's called that anymore. We could call it the Louis Vuitton Straight. For the time being. And now going into the final chicane, of course, the Wall of Champions on the outside there, of course, was famous. I think it was for the 1997 Grand Prix. I will double check that, of course. And that's where it got its name. And of course, the circuit also holds the record for having the longest Grand Prix at 4 hours, 4 minutes and 39 seconds. Of course, rain playing a heavy part in that massive delay, which turned out to be an absolute thriller in the end. Jenson Button making contact with Lewis Hamilton, and then, of course, Jenson Button taking it on the final lap after Sebastian Vettel's mistake. It was quite a thriller of a Grand Prix, and now I have no grip coming round the final couple of corners, now that final chicane, and that is 12th place for the Alpine there. I thought I have no grip was going to be more the front runner in that team, but turns out that is not the case. Quincy faster than no grip, so I wonder where the grip is for the Alpine driver round here. He has proven to be faster than that, I promise you, but there's also going to be a little bit of a problem here as DGH still top of the timing boards for now. Massive improvement from him, actually. Let's just take a look at where he was in terms of places last week. I'm sure he was with us last week. Not here on my notes, but then again, I might be under a different name. I'll double check that when I get a bit of time. But either way, Josh Dow approaching the line. He's on a fresh set of softs, so he's had that lap invalidated. He's had to cool down his tyres and recharge his ERS, so he'll go again and go for another flyer. Of course, Josh also in contention for this championship. Starts tonight in 3rd place behind Rendog, who of course is now on holiday, so he will not be with us for the final 2 rounds. So in terms of the Mercedes championship there in between the teams, Dan Lovett very much winning that one. And, well, is the sole running Mercedes tonight. And, of course, just to remind you, in case you have just joined us, all Dan needs to do to secure the Constructors' Championship, which we sadly misinformed you about, all he needs to do is get 3rd place or higher, and then Mercedes will be your Constructors' Championship. It may have been my fault that got misinformed last week, so I do apologize to the organisers there, as they did announce that through my message. So I do have to take responsibility for that. But now I can certainly assure you now that I have seen how the points are distributed, it is going to have to be this week where Mercedes try and clinch that championship. We see Astro into the pits. Sorry, we see Josh into the pits. We're seeing Astro on an invalidated lap. He's on 1 lap soft tyres, and he hasn't come off of a fly because he's still got no time on the board with nearly 8.5 minutes to go. Those clouds have been hovering over the Canadian circuit, so I just wonder if we're going to see rain at some point in this qualifying, and drivers are going to have to make a flurry of activity in the pit lane. Even Mr. Jabe is on the way out. We just had F1 Mikey join the session, so we'll have 16 drivers once he has loaded in. But otherwise, it's very much nip and tuck time because the rain can come at any moment. It's been threatening throughout the entire qualifying session, but in the 10 minutes that we are about to have, it's not made any appearance as of right now. But the Red Bull that we are watching right now is currently running the fields. The 14 drivers, soon to be 15, thanks to another joiner, is going to be maybe on top again. He did get, and into the wall of champions. The Red Bull goes. That might be, it won't be for this season, but that might be a future, that might be a fate for the future kind of deal. Maybe if you touch the wall of champions, you become a champion in a future season. We'll see if that comes true. Of course, Dan Lovett will be hoping to avoid the wall of champions for his own race, but then again, might be fortuitous at the same time, of course, getting its name after, I think it was 3 or 4 world champions in a one Grand Prix crashed into it. I will, of course, double check that when I get a bit of time. But that is Dan Lovett now to pole position, beats DGH by over 0.3 of a second. And there we go, one to look out for there. Dan Lovett doing all he needs to do, and the pieces are coming together for his evening. Looking very good there in that Mercedes. Going through turns 8 and 9 is Noah, hoping to bring the championship for another week. In terms of drivers and constructors, Williams are now out of it, simply too far back. Just to give you an idea, Williams were 99 points behind the Mercedes group going into this, so they're just looking to hold on to 3rd place. And thanks to Den Bliss, the addition of Den Bliss there into the team, well, I think they're going to have that no problem at all. So that battle for 3rd may quickly be checked out from the Williams, and so that might go between the Racing Bulls and the Sauber just for 4th place. And if Haas get a good result tonight, JP also on the board there, very high up, as we'll see Noah now take pole position for the time being. No reason to get excited just yet. We still have a long way to go, and there is a Racing Bulls there coming to the line, but that is of Josh starting a flying lap. There is then an Aston Martin coming through. That can be Mr. Jabe, maybe. It certainly is. He's just gone through the final corner, avoiding that little iconic wall there, and he's straight to 3rd there. What a shock. Jabe Jameson there, qualified 5th last week and is now gone 2 places higher for the time being. And with 6 minutes to go, what a way to stamp your authority. A new evening brings new beginnings. And this is now really great stuff from the Aston Martin driver. Let's see what he can do. Let's keep an eye on JP, who that's 1.7 seconds down there. Let's just see his tyres. He's come off a flyer, so he qualified 4th for a brief moment. And then the Aston Martin had something to say about that, as Den Bliss improves on his personal best, but no positional improvement. Just to make sure everybody is aware, I do say this every single time, but the delta on the top right-hand side of your screen does not compare to the overall session best. It compares to the driver's personal best. So do remember that when you are looking at the best, when you're looking at positive and negative deltas. Just something to keep in mind there for you. Josh coming to the line now, but I don't think he's on a representative time. But then again, he attacks that final chicane at a rate of knots. Let's see. Actually, I think this is going to be representative. It's going to be pole position. Well, well, well. Dan Lovett needing 3rd is not going to find this easy. And he's not going to be loving it in this moment in time. He is going to be stressing it. Of course, here is last week's winner, MCL, who took 4th place in qualifying, but at the moment in the Kick Sauber, really struggling for what it looks like, and just coming into turns 8 and 9 now, the second to last chicane. Then you've got the hairpin of turn 10 right after this one. Go through the kink here at flat out, but we need to see a real flying lap. We're going to go on board with one of the pole contenders at some point. We'll take you through a lap of this tight but magnificent high-speed circuit. Final second to last DRS zone, depending on how you look at it, for MCL here. Hoping to try and grab pole position again, but in a kick-salber, that's easier said than done. But let's see how MCL controls the car. That was okay going through there. Probably not the best exit, and in fact, that looked like it was very scruffy there. The kick-salber, not really known for its cornering ability, to be honest with you. And here is one of the earlier pole sitters from earlier in the session. Surely now one of their final flying laps with just under 4 minutes to go. It is now business end of qualifying, but is the rain going to be a factor? The clouds have been hovering through the entire session. Is it just an overcast qualifying session, or is there a nasty surprise in these final few minutes? We've only got one way to find out. Let's let the timer play out, and at the moment, DGH will be one of the first across the line to set one of their final couple of flying laps, so he will have time for another. He's going to go through the final chicane cautiously, but then step on the power. And here we go. Let's go for a flying lap on board with the Red Bull. DGH now across the start-finish line through to Virage Center. He goes. This is turn 1. Some people call turn 2 the island hairpin. Either way, you've got to hit that apex of center to set yourself up for the hairpin of turn 2. Now get on the power as early as you can. Breaking down here, it's turn 3, turn 4, no first chicane of the lap, now flat through here, left and right kink, and now break it around the 100-meter board, and then you go left here for turns 6 and 7, and of course you've got to be careful just there. Very easy to understeer into the wall or get on the power too early and oversteer. DGH gets the balance there. Now it's 8 and 9 after the first DRS zone of the lap, and that is very good from the Red Bull driver here. Now it's one of the slower corners, and it's the hairpin of turn 10. They got to meet the apex, and that's not very good there. It's riding too much curb, not getting a lot of momentum on the exit, but either way, he will be able to try and redeem this through DRS. Does he have enough ERS? Not really. You can see the overtake button flashed off there on the steering wheel, and now it's the final corner. You want to break between, about the 75 meters there, and now DRS opening again to the start-finish line. DGH for his second to last lap, second place. That's nearly half a second there, but I think there was a lot of time lost in the hairpin. Too much curb there, and loses all the momentum on the exit as well. One we've been keeping a little bit of an eye on, Quincy up into 8th place there. His Alpine teammate of I Have No Grip, currently also on a flyer, just going down what was called the Casino Straight, but we're going to call that the Louis Vuitton Straight for tonight. And a bit of a lock-up there from I Have No Grip. That didn't look like it ruined him too badly, but that is only 12th place there, and I Have No Grip, considering his position in the championship going into tonight, which was 4th place. That's going to be a bit of a disappointing qualifying at the moment. And he's run out of time as well. He's not going to get another flying lap on the board. I Have No Grip has got no grip in Montreal. And that will be the end of his session. Josh there has also claimed pole position there while I was looking at my notes there, just based on a couple of weeks ago. And now Josh really in the competition. Dan Lovett down to 4th there. So this is looking quite troublesome, actually. But just kind of calculating the points difference. Well, actually, before I do that, let's have a look at Dan Lovett as he goes through 8 and 9. I thought that was going to be an invalidation, but must have kept a pixel away from the white line. As a 5th-place grid penalty for Matt Connor there. So he is, at the moment, starting from last place, but he's on an outlap, so he will get one final flying lap if there is no damage to the car, which there isn't. So he will continue on, but back to the Mercedes driver, hoping to clinch the Drivers' Championship tonight, and not only that, the Constructors as well. Let's see what he can do. Dan Lovett takes a bit of sausage on his way out from turn number, turn number 14, I think, as that is only a personal best improvement, and that is Dan Lovett done for qualifying, and he is outside of the top 3. Noah also down by a couple of tenths in Sector 2, but maybe Sector 3 is where it's all on the line, and I think he knew that going into the hairpin. It's not enough to improve. He lost too much time there. What about Mr. Jabe? What can he do? And then we'll have to see one of the Alpines. That will be Quincy, of course, because, of course, I Have No Grip. And, invalidation for Mr. Jabe. Quincy next And he is improving by half a tenth in Sector 2. Bless SRL got underway for him, but he's invalidated. And that's all over for him. What about JP from 6th place? 3/10 up. What is this going to be? 5th place for the Haas driver. And your usual commentator, MCL, I think is also on a lap. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be representative. Who's next across the line? One of the kick salvers, that was MCL. 6th place for MCL there. What about Dem Bliss? Invalidated lap. It's over for him. But who else is on a flyer as well? One of the Aston Martins? No, there is not. I think it is just Matt Connor. No, he's invalidated. So that's his lap done. I think that's it. Yep, that is it. That is the end of qualifying. So, not many improvements there. And one thing I do need to touch upon is that you drivers will need to look out for track limits. It is one of the worst tracks for this. The white lines are so close on the exit. And, of course, through the wall of champions, we saw Noah go very wide there. I think it was Noah at the beginning of the session. And he invalidated his time. And, of course, in qualifying, when you invalidate in the final couple of corners, your next flying lap is invalidated by default. So, not only that, it is unfortunately rather bad. It's just one of those tracks which is rather cruel on you. But that concludes qualifying for Montreal, and then we'll have a 100% distance Grand Prix. But your official qualifying results, it's Josh, DGH, and Noah rounding out your top 3, with Dan Lovett, Kick rounding out your top, well, Kick, Shelvus, JP, she loves JP, even Baker Pod, round out your top 5. Then from 6th to 10th is MCL, Mr. Jabe, F1 Mikey Boy. They're putting in a lap at the death there for the top 10. Great one from him, and it was a 1-lap spectacular from Mikey. Then it's Den Bliss and Quincy rounding out your top 10 with Matt Tudor, Meldrum, I Have No Grip, Matt Connor, and Astro rounding out your top 15, with Hash, slowest of them all, over a second away from Astro in 16th. In a couple of moments' time, we will bring you action from Montreal, of course. Remember, this is the 100%, so it is a full-distance Grand Prix, so expect a 2 or 3 stop strategy from the drivers. If you see soft tyres, will definitely be a 3-stop strategy, and it is bone dry for now here in Montreal. Of course, the clouds threatened qualifying, but the rain never came, and of course, a relief for drivers. We had an excellent qualifying session. And, of course, we will soon be underway. It won't take us very long at all to get ourselves underway. We don't really wait too long here. As, there we go. Do not admin. Okay, so don't... Oh, just a little bit of a reminder from one of the admins here. For the drivers, don't forget your recordings. Let's have a good clean race and do not ready up on the grid. Admin will ready up in their own time. So... Of course, we will wait for that to happen, but there'll be no formation lap, so we are just waiting for things to get underway. Of course, I'm just trying to find out which Grand Prix got the infamous Wall of Champions. I'm willing to bet it was either 1997 or 1999. I'm just going to find out for you now and just do a quick bit of Googling before the race. And let's see where its origins came from. Let's see. I think it was 1997 well, actually, it was 1999 where the most drivers happened to crash into it. Of course, Michael Schumacher, Damon Hill, Jacques Villeneuve, as well. So all 3 of those drivers crashed out. So it was definitely the Wall of Champions. It was Jacques Villeneuve in the race in lap 1 in 1997, but of course he wasn't a champion then, but he did go on to win that championship, of course, and of course in loving memory of his late father, Gilles Villeneuve, as well. Now, another thing that drivers have just got to watch out for is, like, you know, we've already mentioned the track limits, but also it's very tight and narrow here at Gilles Villeneuve. The only real overtaking opportunities are really under DRS and, of course, any sorting out at the start. But even then, turn 1 tightens to go into its little right-hander at turn 2, and it is very slow. And, of course, with cars full of fuel, very easy to understeer here. So, of course, it's going to be the first few laps trying to get tyres under temperature, and then, of course, making the tyres last for your desired strategy. That's going to be a real challenge for everybody tonight, and we are currently the sun is beaming down on the circuit, so it's just going to be a real challenge here. Temperatures are going to have to be managed, engine temperatures are going to have to be managed. It's going to be all sorts of chaos for the drivers to handle. Of course, 16 of them here. Dirty air also going to be a factor in all of this. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. It is going to be a race that's won on strategy rather than carving your way through the field. And if you are able to carve your way through the field, you're going to have to do it under safety car, to be honest, to bring you back into it. And then, of course, rely on the 3 DRS zones. And, of course, one of them, well, 2 of them being really short. Of course, there's that 1 DRS zone between turns 7 and 8. That's not really long enough to be an overtaking opportunity. You have to get a magnificent exit. But here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's going Montreal, and that might have been a bit of a delayed start there from DGH, but I think he actually got the getaway. It's going to be round the outside for the Red Bull. The 2 sister teams are going to do battle, and DGH gets the move done. What a move from the Red Bull. What a start from the Red Bull. Dan Lovin also losing out on the podium there. He's down to 4th place as things stand right now, and he's got a bit of side-by-side action from JP. Of course, JP gave Dan a lot of trouble last week. And let's see what he can do tonight. The Ferrari and the Racing Bulls of Mikey going side by side with Astro there. That was in the Ferrari. They're having a bit of a tussle with Haas and Dave Ferrari. Meldrum and Matt Connor in the background there trying to sort their way into the field. But I have no grip. No grip at Montreal, continuing into the race, and down to 15th he goes as now JP has got past Dan. This is troublesome, as has MCL. Dan down to 6th place already. Terrible start now as Noah Williams of Den Bliss desperate to get past Jabe into turn 10, and I think Jabe got the better exit there. Let's try and see what we can find out on board with the drivers. No DRS on lap 1, 70 laps to come as now DGH is passed for the lead. So after that impressive turn 1 to turn 2 maneuver, it is all undone under the slipstream as Dan Lovett into the pits, and I think he's got damage. The driver looking to take the championship with new pedals for this week as well has lost out, and oh my goodness me, Mikey Boy is spun round very well, half spin by the Williams. Contact for afterwards between the Williams and the Racing Bulls, and at the moment this is turning into absolute chaos for Den Bliss here. I don't think he's got any damage there, and neither does F1 Mikey Boy. Looks like the cars are well as the Ferrari bumps the Racing Bulls there through the turn, but at the moment Den Bliss looking like he's getting a bit hot under the collar with all things considered. And now Racing Bulls to DRS, and this is where I said it will be unlikely to overtake, and round the outside as well, but he has to go wide there and surely has to give that position back. Astro cannot keep that, and there we go, Mikey even showing his disapproval there. But was the overtake done before going into the corner? Is that a technicality the Ferrari can rely on? He's not giving it back, so well, that answers that question, to be honest with you. But now the Racing Bulls will have DRS, as will the Ferrari. So the Ferrari will defend, but it's also going to be on the attack. Dan Bliss here not having the week that he had last week. And at the moment now he is... now DGH with DRS there, fastest lap, as Mr. Jabe also takes that. But Dan Bliss 2.7 seconds behind the top 6 now. Mikey Boy makes a move on the Ferrari, so the Ferrari having a mistake through the final corner, and that allows Matt Connor to get through, but the Ferrari got better traction. Let's have a look at the tyres just while we've got a bit of time as the Racing Bulls keeps that position. Yes, hard tyres for Mikey Boy, so he will be at a bit of a disadvantage in this early part of the race, but it looks like that isn't bothering him so far. But look at this, JP right involved in this, and Dan Lovett on 16 seconds. And in 16th place as well to Quincy. Quincy having an awful start. The Alpines doing an awful... well, that's both constructors there. I mean, Dan's not going to mind this. If things are to stay as they are right now, Mercedes are crowned champions, but now Noah is brought into the championship equation. Noah began tonight. Let me just bring up the notes for you here. Began tonight with 35 points behind, so Noah really realistically needs to make up more positions there as he goes into the wall of champions there. Don't preempt fate as Josh gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations, and that allowed JP to get through, of course, your regular commentator here on NRRL. He will be back with you for tomorrow night's F2 race, which is an exciting finale between Fake Scouser and I think... oh, goodness me, I can't remember the other name. I'll dig that out for you in a couple of moments. But he will be commentating over that, and it will be in China, 8 p.m. tomorrow. Exciting finale coming up there in NRRL. At that moment, JP now up into third place, showing that not only does he have the commentary skills, he also has the racing skills. As Den Bliss there with a 3-second penalty. He was actually trying to get a vote together, Dan Bliss, if we could have reduced track limits, and Dan quickly put the sword in that and said no need for debate. It is strict track limits. And that was well approved by the admins there. As now Noah gets his way past JP for third place yet again. And there's battles happening up and down the field. Even MCL is involved with this. Last week's winner from fourth place in, where was it? It was Red Bull Ring. There you go. Remembered at the last minute. As Kick gets, well, She Loves JP gets back past. As now Mikey there is also back past. But then JP getting a 3-second penalty for track limit violations there. And I think the Red Bull's just not making any moves because he knows that there's that 3-second penalty to serve post-race. So I don't think they're going to remove that, considering the track limits are in effect here. And there was other influences. JP very wide through there. It's now Dan Lovett's race goes from bad to worse. A 3-second penalty for track limit violations for him. Matt Tudor follows suit. So under a lap 5 out of 70, remember, Matt Tudor also with a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So has to serve that either within his next pit stop. As now a change for the lead is happening. And Josh is forced off the track there by the Red Bull of DGH. As now Kick, well, JP even, beg your pardon, says, I will take advantage of this. It's 3 wide, potentially into turn 10. Luckily, one of them backs out, but Noah says, yeah, thank you very much, I'll take that. As JP leads for a few moments there, but now he's off the grass, and he's been forced right by the Red Bull. And JP will try and go into DRS, but the Williams will have straight line speed. 3 wide, down against the straight, surely not 4 wide. No, it'll stay 3 wide though, and JP finds back aggressively, and the Red Bull, and the Williams, and the Racing Bulls all make contact with one another. Disaster for those 3 teams in the final corner. No one hit the wall of champions. That was the contact of embarrassment. Into turn number 1 is that 14, and disaster strikes for for DGH, Noah, and I think that was actually kind of it. If I'm not mistaken, unless if I am missing something. Josh as well was involved in that and is missing an end plate. So that means now we've had an absolute shake-up in the order. Goodness me. Noah, hoping to take the Drivers' Championship into next week, is now not in the best position and has to do what you don't want to do in this track, is carve your way through the field. It is so hard to do it. It is such a tight and narrow track, and you only have 3 DRS zones to do that. As now Meldrum has had a moment through turn 10, as now DGH is beginning to make his way up the field, as Noah does the same in the background as well. Lots of exciting action at the back of the field now, because those feisty drivers have lost out in positions as Josh gets a 3-second penalty, and that's his second of the night there. But 3 wide into turn 13 was never gonna work. And it is really becoming an awful evening there. Nobody wanted to back out. I understand Noah's perspective there on the championship, as I did with Josh's. But let's see who. I'm trying to make sure I remember who was involved in that. But Josh as well was involved in that. DGH had no championship stakes here. At least I don't think so, unless if he's under a different name in the standings. That's where it slightly goes wrong here. But look at MCL, by the way. He's just said, I'm going to take all this real estate, as he nearly loses it through the next turn. Turn 8 to 9. Loses the rear end, but gets it back all composed. Well, now we have to really look at what's going on at the back. I have no grip, losing out to Noah around the outside of the exit of turn 9. That is not always an overtaking position. But hey, he made it work, and Noah fighting his way through the field. Of course, Dan Lovett still way further back, but Noah with a lot of work to do. This could be disaster, as Jabe is overtaken by Josh there into the final corner. But the Aston Martin gets the exit despite the damaged front wing. Josh also has the same issue, so that might be contributing to both their races. But Josh with the DRS there at the detection point. Well, he uses it in the activation point. We were talking about MCL getting closer now. All of a sudden, he's been checked away from JP there. She Loves JP currently running the race as of right now, but a 3-second post-race penalty for track limit violations will come his way. Just needs to make sure he doesn't add on more. As oh, there's more contact! Are you kidding me? Astro and the Red Bull of Matt Tudor make contact as Quincy goes through there, and now the Red Bull fight that back. Oh, goodness me! And the that's Noah spun round the Red Bull in half a spin as well. And this is disaster for Noah. Not in a battle he wants to be in. Probably getting a little impatient, but I also don't think that was his fault either. Noah here, not really in the trenches in Montreal tonight. Goodness me. Noah is not having the evening he wanted. He wanted, remember, going into tonight, he wanted to take the championship to Dan Lovett, as unlikely as that was. But as it stands now, Dan is champion. I think. I will just have to calculate a few things, but we'll just kind of try and let things settle down if that's possible. As Quincy makes a move on Astro for 9th place, DGH is now 2.6 seconds down the road, though, so that's going to be a bit of an ask as Noah now makes a move. And a 3-second penalty for Noah for violating track limits there. And I understand what is going on here because, like, you know, Noah is going to be frustrated with what's happened. He still has 62 laps, but at this position, he has a long way to go. Needs every lap to really count, to be honest with you. And, of course, strategy is going to play a big part in this as well. So Noah really is digging himself deep here and trying to get some sort of advantage coming out of this. At the moment, though, Noah in 13th place, but here we go. We're about to see some more overtakes. Are we going to see some more contact? Hopefully not for the admins and stewards. But Belgium misses the corner. Going into number 8 there, uses the sausage curb, and Noah might have one less to worry about. He does, so he's just got Matt Tudor ahead, but Belgium is a really, what is it? Oh, really aggressive driver. Trying to think of the word there. But unfortunately, the word escaped me, so aggressive was the best I could do under the circumstances. As now, side by side, down the down the Louis Vuitton straight, we've decided to call it for the evening, as Belgium now using that straight line speed, and Noah has to concede the position. And he does, so back to 13th he goes. And that's an unlucky number, very much a representation of his side, but Noah comes back with DRS. Does he have the slipstream and the ERS? No, but Belgium locks up again, going deep into turn 1. But through turn 2, he's able to hug the apex and keeps that position. Just so you know, the top 5 now includes Mikey Boy in all of that. Of course, Mikey Boy was late to the qualifying session, able to qualify in 8th place, and he is doing a really good job. He's right on the back of Mr. Jabe there. Just had DRS. Of course, Mr. Jabe has got front wing and plate damage. Dan Bliss gets another 3-second penalty for track limit violations there. That's his total up to 6 seconds. And those medium tyres will surely be starting to fall off. Of course, it's a traction-heavy circuit, so those rear tyres will be struggling, will be probably screaming on the mediums. As now, well, we're probably about to see a change for the lead. MCL has been setting this up for a while. Mikey Boy has just made his move for 4th place. Of course, remember, 1 DRS activation point for 2 activation points, so this is the second one here. MCL, can he get a run into turn 1? No, he can't. He's not close enough to have a go. But more importantly for Mikey Boy, he is now looking at a podium in his, well, what feels like one of his first races here, at least one of his first few. As now the Ferraris here don't make contact here, but oh my goodness me, Astro down the inside. That was never going to work. Turn 1 always tightens up at the middle of the corner, and this is cinematic stuff from NRRL tonight. Nitro Realistic Racing League, as Belgium gets a 3-second penalty. That's his first one of the night. Hopefully his last for his own sake. As now MCL finally makes a move. Oh my goodness me, at turn 8. How are these overtakes being made at that corner? JP pushed off the track as now the Racing Bulls begin to do battle with one another, going into the hairpin of turn 10. How has Mikey stuck the inside there? And there was a bit of contact on the exit. This is getting very, very feisty. Here, there's no other word for it. I know there's another one, but I can't quite think of it. But here we go again. Josh now with a championship on the line here, trying to get past his teammate, but Mikey Boy then gets a 3-second penalty, and MCL keeping it clean. And now JP will fight back on that. He retakes the lead of the race, but on a technicality, because 6 seconds coming his way post-race for track limit violations, as Belgium gets another one. And now, Dem Bliss trying to make his way through the field as well. Well, he's been there for quite a while. Serving a, what is it now, 6-second penalty post-race. He's hoping for that not to be any more. Had a similar issue last week at the Red Bull Ring, and the issues have continued. And Dem Bliss there trying to look for the inside there on Connor, but no luck there. That's, oh my goodness me, spin from Dem Bliss! Spin from Dem Bliss there on the exit of turn 9. That's what I was talking about in qualifying. Too much throttle there at turn 7, beg your pardon. And then you are spun round there, and he just got too desperate on the throttle, loses positions, and Dem Bliss, from 1 week he was having the time of his life, to this evening is having a time to forget for the Williams driver, as now we're probably about to see a very close battle indeed. JP all the way to the right-hand side of the track here. The kick-salver is going to try and throw him off as he go into turns. Whoa, what happened there? Did we see a spin? No, we did not. We saw Josh heading in for the pit lane. I thought there was a spin there in the back, but no, nothing of the sort, as everything stays as they were for the time being. DGH actually having a good race so far. He's up into 6th place there. He was one of the 3 involved in contact. That was between Noah and Josh, as Josh now has to come into the pits and surely replacing his front wing. And what tyre is it for Josh on his first stop? As we have a caution in Sector 1 there. What has happened? What has happened? It is Dem Bliss having another moment, I think. He's caused the yellow flag because Dan just went through, no problem at all. And all of a sudden, Noah's great advantage has all been evaporated because of the contact. And I think there has been another moment. I have no grip in the wall. Is he parking it there? Because he's retired. No, he's reversing out. He was waiting for the car to come through. Okay, fair enough. There, so I have no grip, just being better safe than sorry, and just waiting for cars to go through there. Respect to that, as now Dan really now is on a mission to try and secure this title tonight, as there's a bit of contact between the Ferrari of Astro and himself, as now the Ferrari goes a bit deep, but tries to meet the apex, as now Dem Bliss trying to give a favour to his teammate to try and fight the Mercedes, but the Mercedes with the better traction after that pit stop. Bit of afters between the Ferrari and the Mercedes, gets the move done, but who was behind at the DRS detection point? No DRS for Dan, it seemed there, as now we're seeing a rather interesting manoeuvre there into turns 9, well, sorry, turns 13 and 14, beg your pardon. As Astro goes into the pit lane, the Racing Bulls of Josh now trying to get through the Williams of Dem Bliss. Gets the move done, but a front wing end plate missing there from Josh. And I wonder if he decided not to replace his end plate there, as Meldrum and Dem Bliss there also having a bit of a fight. But that is Dem Bliss winning for the time being as well. Meldrum also needed to serve 3 seconds more in track limit penalties. And, well, look at this. F1 Mikey Boy gets past MCL, but MCL, remember, with no penalties to serve. So now that is Mikey Boy up into 2nd, and he's got momentum on JP here, and JP hasn't been afraid to fight. Remember last week, JP fought with Dan Lubby, who was in a championship. It was in a championship situation. He didn't care, and he still fought him tooth and nail, despite being on the weaker tyres at the time. As Connor there in the back, Connor in the background makes a move on Mr. Jape there, going through the hairpin, well, on the exit anyway, as JP pushes the Racing Bulls through the corner. This is great stuff from these two again. As well, because the detection point, the Racing Bulls has it, but JP to the inside there, but makes his intentions known early, and Racing Bulls able to give him the room, but because of the inside at turn 2, that's all settles itself down. But what about looking at DGH, of course, involved in contact many laps ago? The Grand Prix is flying by at a rate of knots, already lap 15 out of 70, swap for the Williams in the background because of Dem Bliss's pit stop. So that'll be his first of the evening. He's on to the hard tyres. That's now the Red Bull. And, of course, the kick-salver in your front of your frame there gets a good exit. That is Matt. Is that Matt Connor up into 3rd? It is, actually. So it was the Haas with the better exit, but contact between the Red Bull and the Aston Martin. Mr. James trying to hang it around the outside. It was a bit aggressive from the Red Bull, but it was fair. That's the most important thing here. As now the detection point for the next DRS zone. DGH will have no DRS on the top 4 in front, so he will have to try and defend from the Aston Martin behind, which means we can turn our attention to this battle between 4 drivers for 1 position. And, well, no moves there as of right now. Mr. Jabe wasn't close enough to have a go, but maybe somebody can have a go here. Is there going to be a change? JP is actually going to make his way back past the Racing Bulls here, but Mikey Boy will fight that back, and there's been a bit of contact, and Mikey Boy is round. More contact here as the MCL thinks better of that, just backs out, allows the Racing Bulls to rejoin the racing line. Very generous driving there from the Red Bull driver, or no, the Kick Sauber driver, beg your pardon. And right now, trying to hang on for all he is worth here as now with all of this. Quincy's even catching up as now Josh makes a move on Matt Tudor for 8th place there. That was going through. What is that? Turns 3 and 4. As Noah with another 3-second penalty for track limit violations. That brings his total up to 6 seconds. And to be honest, it's not the only one, really. Dan even also has a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. But at the moment, this top 5 are really bringing our attention. There's a Red Bull there down the inside on the hairpin of 10-10. Goodness me. Risky overtakes coming left, right, and centre. And now it's the 2 Haas drivers as I have no grip. Gets a 3-second penalty along with Den Bliss as well. And oh, I thought there was a Haas in the wall there, but JP allows his teammate through, but needs to be careful as now JP into the pits. So now his teammate will assume the lead of the Grand Prix, but JP now in this Grand Prix for the win. But DGH and MCL with fewer penalties than all the drivers around them. So this is where the Grand Prix is in reality as of right now. But what about Quincy? With all these 5 and 4 drivers fighting, Quincy's now involved in this. Don't count him out either. Lots of mistakes up and down the field as JP is now behind Noah on the exit. But wait a minute, there's a fight between JP and Noah because JP got the exit on the pit lane. And there we go. He is now ahead. He is now ahead of Noah. Hash there with a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. That's his total up to 9 seconds as of right now. Hash not having a Grand Prix to remember, of course, was a second off of Astro in qualifying. Qualified last, and it's not getting any better as I'm sorry there. I don't know why I've got that invite from that driver. Apologies for the distraction, but regardless, let's turn our attention right back to the battle, which is now a top 6 between them. Oh, goodness me, this could be very exciting indeed. At the moment now, as Quincy's just trying to get on the back of this, Mr. James should have had DRS unless if he was back at... Oh, goodness. Oh, that's a front wing end plate gone flying. Is that DGH's front wing end plate? I think it is. Yes, the front left end plate has gone from the Red Bull. This is... Oh, goodness me, and even more of it comes off. DGH from recovery to absolute misery now is going to be reduced on corner performance. And look at that understeer. And don't forget the dirty air as well from the car in front, from the 2 cars in front even. And Quincy now is involved in this battle. And DGH just a bit desperate there to try and make his way through as a Ferrari is round. That's Meldrum needing to get underway, and his down front wing is absolutely obliterated on the left-hand side as well of his car. Well, it's just the end plate, thankfully for him, but still not really what you want out of this, as now DGH is going to have to make an early pit stop, and probably not the one he wanted. It's probably another set of hard tyres for the Red Bull, but he's going to be under pressure here as Quincy has a bit of a moment on the exit of the hairpin. Has Mikey Boy done enough to keep DRS to JP? He has. MCL has definitely done enough, but now Jabe and Quincy are going to be looking to try and make moves. Is the Red Bull seriously going to consider defending that? Yeah, no, I thought as much. And Mr. Jabe there takes the corner rather nicely, as does Quincy, but now Josh is involved in all of this. So this is becoming a rather hectic Grand Prix. I am absolutely stunned by some of the action we have seen so far tonight. But a lot of work for the stewards to do, and especially one of the biggest dramas, DGH, Noah and Josh involved in a three-car contact there, which sent Noah and DGH round. And now DGH has had more drama from the last lap and has been forced into an early pit stop, and he is all the way down in 10th place with a new front wing to boot, so he is at least going to continue on, still without any track limit penalties. But of course, if the stewards deem fit, there might be some action for post-race, but that's if there is any sort of investigations. Let's not call anything too early, but there's Quincy down the inside of the Aston Martin at the hairpin of turn 10, and then there's contact between the Aston Martin and the Racing Bulls. Quincy will have the DRS on the exit, but Mr. Jabe well, all three drivers might have it. Let's just have a quick look. They do indeed, because now the Aston Martin also has DRS, as they were just 1 second behind the driver in front of them. Well, when they came to the detection point, that was MCL time, but now Quincy making the move, and Jabe now staring down at more cars than he was looking at, and MCL has rather been left behind as Dan Bliss also swaps with Hash for 12th place in the background, but lots of battling going up and down the field. It's really hard to know where to look at any one time. MCL here not having the best of luck so far. And just to kind of let you know, we've already had nearly half of this Grand Prix. We're only 15 laps away. It has been an absolute entertaining Grand Prix so far. You can't complain that you haven't been entertained at all. As at the moment now, we're going to see a swap for the lead, as that is the Racing Bulls and Mikey Boy going ahead. As there's been a crash. There has been a crash at Sector 3. The final couple of turns, I think. Oh, it's Belgium in the Wall of Champions here, missing a large portion of his front wing on the right-hand side of the car. And that is another pit stop for the Ferrari driver. And to be honest, I wouldn't blame him if he called it a day. It's now Quincy. Oh my goodness me, 3 wide again on the exit of the hairpin. Will this continue down into the final couple of turns, or does Quincy have the race smarts to not fight this? The Kickstarter has no DRS, so we are going 3 wide into the next turn. But although MCL backs out, Quincy tries to throw the Racing Bulls off to try and have a go down the start finish straight. But of course, double DRS for 1 detection point as Belgium has crashed. Belgium's crashed. Safety car deployed, and now the race is turned upside down. Who's the Fresh Prince of Montreal? We'll find out in a few moments' time. But now, safety car deployed. Pit stops are going to be coming in thick and fast. Jabe into the pits there on a fresh set of hards. DGH pitted a couple of laps ago, so he's really in trouble here now, as Mikey Boy just currently leading the way. But that post-race penalty is going to loom even larger over the Racing Bulls driver. And well, if you thought the first 20 laps were chaos, well, now we have to do it all over again, because everybody is going to be bunched up because of the safety car. And we are currently going to be looking at a rather spicy restart. So at the moment, Quincy up into 4th place. He's one of the biggest movers in all of this. Having a very decent week for him. MCL up into 5th there, but will now need to change his rings. As now, will Dan Lovett stay out to see these hard tyres to the end? Don't think he will. He did have to make a very early stop, so I wouldn't blame him if his strategy has now changed to a 3 stop. He also has 3 seconds in penalties for chat limits, and really nowhere to get away. As yeah, there you go, the top 6 making their way in. It's only Noah and who is the other one there who is out? That is the Haas of JP not making their stops, but of course they will be caught up again, thanks to, of course, being behind the safety car, which is just on the exit of Senna Virage, or Virage Senna. There, DGH just a bit too far back here. Oh, wait a minute. As soon as I say that, though, drive through for Astro for speeding under safety car, as I have no grip with a 3-second penalty here, so he'll be out of championship contention as soon as this is over. But DGH springs past all of them and up into 5th place. What a recovery this could turn out to be. Just unlucky to be involved in contact earlier on in the race, but now this recovery is turning into a rather spectacular one. But Quincy is now involved in this race and is on the medium tyre right now. So he's come off the hards onto the mediums, and he can't go on the softs to the end, so he'll be back on those hards, I would guarantee, if he's looking to make the 2-stop work. But of course, we'll be saving a bit of wear behind safety car. Maybe not as much, as those tyres can still induce a bit of percentage wear under these conditions. But we'll soon see how that all plays out. Of course, the tyres will cool down as well, so you've just got to keep them up to temperature. But otherwise, do we have a word with Meldrum? Potentially. I don't think we will, to be honest with you. And I don't exactly blame him either. I think that is just going to be a source of frustration. He was really not enjoying the Grand Prix at all, from what I could see, just looking at his car at any point in time. And, well, it's certainly not been a fun one here for the driver there. At the moment, we're going to start lap 23 out of 70 behind the safety car here. We are only 12 laps away from the halfway point of the Grand Prix. And we are looking at a rather spicy race already. There have been many track limit penalties, and F1 Mikey Boy is going to do a middle stint on those soft tyres. Of course, we saw that work for one of the drivers back in Suzuka. It was certainly an interesting choice there, but it did work out very nicely. And now as Josh gets another 3-second penalty, we're under safety car conditions here. That shouldn't really be happening, and now his total is up to 12 seconds in post-race penalties just for track limit violations. So Dan now has benefits from this safety car. Noah is up into second place here, but now needs to try and get something underway. Remember, just to remind you, in case the Constructors' Championship, we misinformed you, was sealed last week, but as long as Dan finishes third or above, it doesn't matter what the Alpines can do, they are out of the championship once that is done, and then Mercedes will be confirmed Constructors' Champions at the end of tonight. Den Bliss here asking for a very cheeky advantage, which I'm not going to give him. I'm going to be cruel and not very kind. It is... I know what he's doing. I know what he's doing. He's scheming in that little brain of his. But hello, Den Bliss. Welcome to the stream. I'm not going to fall for that so easily. I am a commentator after all. I know certain tricks. Do not think I have had that happen before. So Den Bliss there trying to be smart, but he's not going to be smart enough to outsmart me, as we are just waiting for I Have No Grip to catch up with the entire field. And we are now just waiting for him to catch up, and then we'll be racing at the end of this lap. So 25 laps out of 70, we will be under restart conditions. So there's just a slight overtake there, but of course EGH giving the place back to Matt, and then we will see what happens. But otherwise, do please comment if audio levels are a little bit unstable. I would like to know if they are, and then I can make adjustments as per. Of course, pit stops for all of the drivers here, so everybody on fresh tyres just about, but only really 1 or 2 laps difference between them for those that haven't pitted. So at the moment, of course, JP and Noah not just taking the pits. Audio has been good all race so far. Thank you, Hayes, for the comment there. And all right then, thank you very much there for just putting my mind at ease. I just got a new audio setup, so audio levels have just been a bit of a worry of mine. But if everything's good, everything's good. And well, timing of that, we are going to have a call from virtual race control for the safety car in this lap. JP, it is all up to you. Whenever you restart, he just needs to wait for the safety car to go into the pit lane. Let's have a listen to see how he restarts this Canadian Grand Prix. He slows the entire pack down at that corner there, the final corner in, and there's there's a 10-second penalty for Josh for a severe collision with MCL. What happened there? Absolutely nothing, because both cars are pointing in the right direction as JP was defending for F1 Mikey Boy there going into the next corner. So despite having the initial start, Noah has dropped away and Mikey Boy is right on the punch with those soft tyres. Contact between the two again. JP, of course, didn't really need to give the room, if I'm being honest, as now MCL makes a move. Very wide, though, through turn 6 and 7. Might have been a bit of pushing and shoving here. But the King Sauber is currently losing positions. This is an absolutely crazy race. And the King Sauber is boxed in to an overtake. Oh, my goodness me. Josh is forced wide. My word, what is going on here in Montreal as JP has been overtaken and Noah overtakes Matt Connor, but Matt Connor really has the momentum as Noah squeezes JP's teammate on the exit here, and we might have a swap for the lead as well. F1 Mikey Boy all the way to the inside, and he will have to middle out that corner at some point, but does JP have the room to go anywhere? No, he doesn't, but no moves in the background so far. Quincy not able to make a move either. He's back on, so he's on those medium tyres as Dan Lovett now has a bad exit through the final couple of corners. DRS enabled, of course. Pits for Josh and Astra, and I think I know why Josh pitted, thanks to that little push and shove through the corners of 8 and 9 there. At the moment, though, it is all getting exciting as DGH there was trying a move there into 3 and 4. That was never going to work. Now through 5 and then 6 and 7 here. It's really, really kicking off here in Montreal, and well, we leave as we begin, I would say, because at the moment it has been non-stop chaos from all the drivers. Josh there, I think, lost more than his front wing. He's had a major loss in that pit stop. He is now over probably 11 seconds behind. What, make that 22 there? At least I was halfway there. As now Dan trying to re-overtake Quincy into the turn 10 hairpin. That's one of the fairer moves we've seen all night. Dan Lovett set that up rather beautifully, but Quincy with the better traction is coming back at the Mercedes side by side through the DRS straight as both of them have DRS. The Red Bull just trying to make some room for himself as Quincy does make the move, but these two in front are going to go side by side, and Quincy gets the move done and is going to get another one done. Great move as Matt Connor there sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:14.1 on hard tyres as well, but more moves happening in the background. Jabe trying to make a move on the Mercedes, brakes later into turn 2, but nowhere to go. Dan covers that off by going wide, but then he's left himself vulnerable to an over-under, and I think the Aston Martin there, oh goodness me, Dan, not leaving any room at all, and Dan Bliss is forced to cut the corner. Oh, and that is absolute chaos, as I have no grip has retired in the pit lane, so that's nothing to do with what we've just seen. And the Aston Martin in frustration here. There is so much chaos happening at one time. Dan Lovett spins off one of the drivers there. That was, of course, the Aston Martin of Jabe. There, and I think Jabe was alongside Dan, to be honest with you there, so the Mercedes might come into trouble there, as now DGH trying to really make some moves after contact at the next corner, and he's looking at one of the drivers he made contact with. Is there going to be more fireworks between these two? But Dan will definitely, I think, is going to definitely be in trouble here, and oh goodness me, Noah is actually going to be swallowed up by both. Doesn't matter, DGH passed by Quincy. Does Noah hang on to any positions? No, he does not, as Quincy there is carving his way through the field. We thought it was going to be tricky, but evidently not. Quincy's making it look rather easy here tonight, and those new pedals on Dan aren't paying any benefits so far. It will probably take him a couple of weeks just to get used to all of that, but Quincy now leads this pack as now Dan Lovett and Noah go and make contact, and this is the very corner. Dan had contact with Jabe there, but no such drama with Noah as Mr. Jabe has retired and has crashed, and it's safety car number 2 already. And who is, well, what happened there? That's going through turn 1. Was there more contact? I don't see any damage on the Ferrari, so I'm going to say no, as Josh gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. This has been explosive action here at the Nitro Realistic Racing League, as now Josh has retired from the race. He's had enough, and he is out of the championship now. So it really is. Let's just have a look who is here. I have no grip, gone as well. Let's see how the championship picture is stacking up. It really is down to Noah. Of course, started this season from round 2 as a reserve driver. Started second, then converted it into first all the way back in Silverstone, and then in Qatar. Started in 6th place, DNF'd, and then got converted second to second, but could have been a win if he didn't make that mistake in Japan. But then last week, let's have a look here, and, well, our pit stop's going to be made. I highly doubt it. We've had so few laps after the safety car. I think we're just going to get started. Wait a minute, someone is making a pit. It's Noah. We were just talking about him as well, and, of course, Noah, just kind of looking at his race. He started in 6th last week, 3rd place this week. There's going to be a lot of words after this Grand Prix. I can guarantee you that. Just thinking about it from an admin's point of view, there are going to be massive, massive words. I was even looking in Discord earlier this week, and there have been some questions about the driving standards here. And there's going to be even more after tonight. And I don't think there's going to be excited eyes watching this Grand Prix back. That's all I can tell you for free. And I've had experience of it from the side of the admin and from the side of the commentator as well. It is no fun, I promise you that. So the admins and the stewards as well, equally in for a lot of work over the coming week. But to kind of make things more exciting for everybody else who watches the F2 racing. There is, of course, a finale in China tomorrow night, which will be broadcasted on this channel, and that is going to be commentated by JP. He will move from the driver's seat to the commentary booth, and that will start at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Of course, one of the championship contenders, Fake Scouts, are there going into the night there, hoping to take his championship here in the Nitro Realistic Racing League. Just going to check who else is involved in that championship also, and then I'll get back to you on that. Just let's give someone something to look forward to, okay, guys? Let's be nice. Let's be nice to the admins, and I'll bring that up for you in just a few moments. But otherwise, here in Canada, it has been non-stop action. It feels more like a Mad Max movie rather than the F1 movie. It has been, collisions left, right, and centre. Josh losing his front wing, which made him DNF in the pit lane. But it was a crash from Mr. Jabe at the very turn you are observing on your screen. That's brought out the second safety car in only a few laps. And to be honest, I think I will avoid DNF interviews for this week. And I think that might just be best. There's a bump in the last chicane near the Wall of Champions. That's not where he crashed. It was at turn 1. So if you could give any insight there, Dembliss, that would be useful. But otherwise, bit of a mystery there how Mr. Jabe lost it. But I will get back to you because I do need to read that announcement there. League announcements, I think it is under. Yes, so it's McKellar versus Fake Scouser. 33 points between them going into the finale. China next week. Well, sorry, not next week. Tomorrow night. It will be, it's promised to be the fight of the year. F2 China title battle showdown will be brought to you on this channel. Safety car in this lap, and JP will move from the driving seat to the commentary booth. But for now, it's F1 Mikey Boy having to get things underway, and JP having to push the Racing Bulls through there. But let's go on board with the Racing Bulls, and we'll soon see when he decides to restart. And, well, Mikey Boy goes earlier than JP, and, he is, currently just going through the final couple of turns now, avoids the Wall of Champions. Quincy with his first penalty, and that was Matt Connor following suit as well. But now restart underway, of course, no DRS for one lap, and maybe fewer drivers can bring calmer action here. Let's see what happens. But anyway, Dembliss hoping to make a few positions. See, remember, he was asking for the tyres earlier on to try and get a cheeky advantage, which I denied him. And, he's currently continuing to race here. But DGH at the moment is probably the one more than likely to win this one. Dan Lovett, well, with one Alpine out, I think that is the end. Yeah, that, in fact, will confirm it. Mercedes, regardless of what happens now, are Constructors' Championships at the end of the night. But I think it's going to be a bit of a muted celebration as Mikey Boy gets another penalty for track limit violations. And now DGH with an even further advantage now, surely on to take the win of this race. He is surely in the front seat. Let's just compare and contrast there. Quincy more than likely going for second place here as things stand. But remember, Dan Lovett not too far behind either. Let's see what he can do. But MCL as well. He don't count MCL out. Remember, winner last week after starting 4th place in the Red Bull Ring. Here we go again, down the Louis Vuitton Straight, as I like to call it. It used to be the Casino Straight, but I'm just going by the sponsors on the bridge there, or on the billboard. As Hash gets another penalty for track limit violations. He's really benefiting from all the DNFs happening around him. He's having to just sit there and do nothing, really. He's just trying to keep his nose clean in all of this action. But Noah is right on the end of that, as is Astro. And, of course, just to compare the Jesus, Noah, 12 seconds in post-race penalties. Goodness me, is there Astro there? Looked like he was having a moment on the exit of turn 4, now through turn 5, through to 6. Looks like it's all settled down, but Quincy at the moment looking like he's favourite to be on the podium. It's now DRS for both the Haas and the Alpine, but nowhere for Quincy to go as Matt Connor covers him off there. Of course, just to compare, we can now compare the tyre life now that a certain someone's not looking, as Hash there with another 3-second penalty trying to get past Tudor, as there's a Ferrari going very wide through 8 and 9. Now into the hairpin of turn 10. What's the Aston Martin doing? What is Hash doing? And what is the Williams doing as well on the back of that? What is happening at this hairpin? A lot of drivers just getting desperate, getting impatient. The red mist has descended over the Gilles Villeneuve circuit and everyone is out for blood rather than pace. As now we're going to see a swap for the lead between JP and Mikey Boy here, as Mikey Boy spins round again, and they spun round Matt Connor as well for good measure, but Matt Connor keeps it clean. And it will continue pointing in the right direction, but the gas is now 1 and 2. But that might only be temporary, as JP has another 3-second penalty. His total up to 9 seconds. And now Quincy still within that. Let's just have a think here. Yeah, Quincy really, in reality, as Mikey Boy has finally pointed in the right direction, but down to last. But oh my goodness me, what is Astro doing? That was a deliberate bump by the Ferrari. Ay, ay, ay. What is going on? Oh no, that's a penalty. If you retire on track, that is a penalty. Mikey Boy calls it a day. And is that going to be a third safety car? No, the AI has parked up at a Marshall's point, and so there'll be no further action from virtual race control. But now back to matters at the front of the field. But oh goodness me, more contact between a Red Bull and a Mercedes here. And well, out of the 60 we've had, and now the Haas teams are gonna really race wheel to wheel. This is far too close to being comfortable, to be honest with you. That is teammates there. Rule 1 of motor racing: don't make contact with your teammate. And everybody really testing the lines here. And Haas is just to get, 24 seconds of penalties as well. And I think surely Haas is not too far away from a disqualification, as we're at the halfway point of the Grand Prix. This has spun round as well, and safety car number 3 is out. 3 safety cars in 10 laps. That is chaos in NRRL. And this is turning in to a rather stressful Grand Prix. If you are a steward in this, you are not going to be looking forward to this. If you're an admin, there's going to be a lot of words after this one. And I really do feel sorry for the staff on this one. On a race like this, I know that, crashes are entertaining and everything. And, we love a bit of drama here and there. But also, you do have to feel for the admins here. They have got a lot of work to do after this race, and that is just stressful. My sympathies go out to them, as Hash gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car there. Amateur mistake. Amateur hour for a lot of the drivers, to be honest with you. I've seen a lot of desperate moves here, especially at the hairpin, Hash being one of them, making contact with the Red Bull of Matt Tudor as well. I know I'm being a bit honest here, but, I've got to call it how I see it, I'm afraid. And it's been a rough one, that's all I can say. And especially 3 safety cars in 10 laps. I can't help but feel for the admins on this one, as now replacement front wing for the Aston Martin, as Den Bliss as well also has to come in for the same purpose as well. Den Bliss brings out safety car number 3 here. And down to 11th place. And is there damage around the car as well? You've got to remember as well, aero damage plays a more significant role. There's you could get damage in the side pods. You could get floor damage as well. And has any of the contact there got underneath the car and damaged any of the crucial parts there? Just lots to think about there if you're a driver. You've got to look after these cars on this particular game. But that's easier said than done. The traction can be a bit weird. Not as weird as F1 24, of course. But it's still not a very comfortable place to be in if you're a driver. And it's gone from 12 drivers to 11 now. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers who are not going to see the finish line on this occasion. And let's just have a look, see if there's any words in the Discord. Not that I'm going to repeat any harsh words. And yeah, JP saying, what on earth is happening? And of course, JP, your main commentator, he's going to have a lot to talk about tomorrow. That'll be one to tune into, I am sure. Of course, remember that. Just to kind of gives you something to look forward to. Of course, the finale of F2 in China tomorrow night at 8 p.m. That'll be broadcasted here by JP, as are most of the races here, apart from the Friday one. That is my role for the time being. Yeah, no, I'll be back here next week, obviously, and it will be... I think Dan has got this no problem, to be honest with you. Noah has got a massive chunk of penalties, 12 seconds compared to Dan Lovett's 6. And that could even out, as we are now at the halfway point of the Grand Prix. Another 3-second penalty for Hash here. So that's it. What's his total now? It's 27 seconds, if I'm not wrong. Well, yeah, drive-through also works too, as Hash has had a moment. Behind the safety car. Yep. That's happened. Again. So, at the moment, third place goes to DGH at the moment. The only two drivers which have ran penaltyless so far are MCL and DGH, and that's it. Only two drivers there. Well, it was very similar, but, like, you know, I will give sympathy where I can give sympathy because it is very, very difficult. This game in particular, like the F1 games, I always say this, right? Safety car has been called in, so I'll finish off this point in just a few moments. But this game is one of the more difficult ones to keep it between the white lines. But that's my point. Matt Connor, it's up to you when we restart. Quincy, DGH, Dan Lovett, MCL behind with Noah in 6th with 12 seconds in penalty points. Matt wasting no time at all, and as we approach the final couple of corners, there's already been a swap here as, yeah, Hash there has had a bit more frustration as JP has incurred another 3-second penalty. I believe that's his total up to 12 seconds. Let's just have a quick check as we are now seeing a move from either the Red Bull or the Haas driver. That is JP now in 7th place as, oh goodness me, Astro there missing a lot of his front wing there and further contact, a bit of afters there. He's on 60 lap old medium tyres, so he's not going to have the best grip as the Ferrari. But just checking penalty totals, yeah, JP up to 12, Noah up to 12, and now there's Hash getting involved in all of this on those soft tyres, and the Ferrari, well, yeah, no grip at all on that. We're missing that much front wing. It's just got to let the Aston through, and, well, that is now Den Bliss going to have a fight there, of course, just keeping an eye on the gaps at the front right now. Side by side, going into the DRS straight, and Dan Bliss actually goes through there with a bit of a Tokyo drift. My goodness me! Hash there! Rather aggressively puts the Red Bull in the wall, at least I think it was. It didn't look good, put it that way. Put it that way, in all honesty. And Matt Tudor now in the wall, and just more chaos happening. But give credit where credit's due. There's been a contact all over the place here. And DRS will be activated on this lap, out at lap 38 out of 70 after 3 safety cars in 10 laps. We are finally going to see DRS action again, and hopefully until the end of the race. Remember, JP sets the fastest lap of the race from 7th place there. But remember, DGH, one of the 2 drivers without a track limits penalty, so no penalties to serve post-race. But then again, with everything that's going on, will all the drivers have something to serve post-race? I know... Oh, goodness me, it's very hard to call. It's very hard to call, that's all I'm going to say. That's not my job to be a steward. My job to be a commentator at the moment, but, like, you know, there's been a lot of racing that, you know, as even I would deem a bit desperate and rather impatient. So a lot to learn here as we come out of the 100% division. Quincy having a moment as Noah makes a move on MCL, and the kick-salver, the kick-salver of MCL losing a position to Noah. That might matter very little, though, with 33 laps to go and a 12-second penalty coming the way of Noah post-race, even though that could have a chance to become more. But MCL now is going to fight back quickly as the Haas of JP is going to slot right behind that rear diffuser of the kick. As now Noah is putting Dan Lovett under pressure, and Dan is squeezing the Williams. No grass required from the Williams there, but the outside becomes the inside. Bit of contact, and the Haas sees an open door and takes it with both hands. And now JP gets a great exit on Noah. These two are fighting for position thanks to their evenly shared penalties as Noah sticks his nose where he didn't need to, and he's crashed. And safety car number 4 in 15 laps. Oh no! Noah trying to fight back, and his championship is done. Noah ends his championship in a rather desperate fashion. He crashes it into the barrier after contact with MCL, and Dan had a front seat view to that. And that is the 6th retirement from this Grand Prix. And Noah, what was he thinking? Round the outside there, back out. when you're going through the downhill section after turn 2 through turn 3, it tightens up. Remember, turn 3, you go downhill, and then there's no room for 2 cars down there. Ah, that is... I think he was honestly just angry. I think there's a lot of mental gymnastics at play, as Noah has obviously left the session. JP not making a pit stop here will go back to the lead of the race for now. But everybody, just about everybody, making another stop. Where is everybody going to come out? Matt Connor comes out 3rd, so I think Matt Tudor did make a... No, he hasn't. Matt Tudor without a stop. 23 lap, old hard. He has to stop again. Those aren't going to the end. But goodness me. This has been something else. And this has been a... this has been a destruction derby. Well, well, well. No words, really, in all honesty, as we've seen the 4th safety car. So this will be the last time we see the safety car tonight, I do think. Once you've reached 4 safety cars on the game, that will be the last time, I think. I am absolutely speechless. Absolutely speechless. It's been a very, very long time since I've seen a race like this. And, again, thoughts and prayers to stewards and admins. I really do feel for you tonight, and yeah, no, my thoughts go out to you. Of course, I've got to give them a thank you for putting this on every single week, but this is probably not the show they would have wanted, considering we always want to see a clean and fair race. And, like, you know, don't get me wrong, there's no harm with a crash here and there, just causing a bit of drama when it's unintentional, of course, but just a lot of moves. Yeah, and just in case JP is listening, Dan Lovett has the title now, whatever happens. So because Noah is now out and all of the championship contenders have suffered the same fate, Dan Lovett is now your champion for Season 1 of NRRL. Congratulations to Dan Lovett. Probably not the way he would have wanted it, of course. I don't think it would have been... I don't think he would have dreamt up this scenario. But all 4 championship contenders... No, sorry, out of the 4 championship contenders going into tonight, only 1 will be finishing it. And that very much goes to Dan Lovett, because we know Rendog is away on holiday now. Of course, he celebrated last week with a podium. He finished in 2nd place there after qualifying 2nd, but of course, due to being away on holiday, he will not be back with us until next season. Wow. But yeah, no, Dan Lovett is your title contender, whatever happens now. So, we're just waiting for Astro and Hash to catch back up. Of course, everybody hoping for just a clean and tense, well, clean final few laps now. And we are, well, I say final few laps. We probably still have 1 more pit stop to come from the guys. Just about everybody making their pit stops. Astro going on the soft tyres 2 laps ago. Kick, Kick She Loves JP is on 6-lap old hard tyres. Then Bliss on 5-lap old mediums. So we'll see what happens. But at the moment now, we are just waiting for the restart. At the moment. So that should be either lap 43 or lap 44. And, well... that's it. It's hard to find words in a race like this, in all honesty. It's like... it's not the way we wanted to see Dan Lovett win this championship, unfortunately, but we've still got more of a race to come, and if Dan Lovett does retire, then obviously that still brings Rendog into the equation. But of course, as we all know, Rendog is on holiday as of right now, and we're just waiting for the safety car. We're just waiting for this safety car, really, just to kind of get underway. We've had 4 in the space of 20 laps. Dembliss, how are you in the VC with the drivers? How are they faring, Dembliss? Dembliss absolutely cooked here, and of course this is one of the few Grand Prix out of the 2 I would call the closest to endurance racing. I would say this is one of them. 70 laps on the board. Monaco. So yeah, technically 3 or 4. Hungaroring is technically an endurance race for F1. Montreal, I would class as an endurance. They sure get some points no matter what. That is true. Pace Mason, very good point for the positives. But I like Astro, Hash, Dembliss, Tudor. Points here on offer, of course. Hayes there finding the positives. But yeah, no, it's certainly going to be a very different result. But I do think we're going to see DGH and MCL, as long as they don't start violating track limits there, as we're going to have one last lap under safety car violations there. But of course, if there is anybody in that driver's VC, please do let me know what the vibe is at the moment. I am not in there. Obviously, as you would just hear a hell of a lot of chatter. Not in the VC, says Dembliss. If anybody is in the VC, do just, if you are able to send me just a quick message for a couple of seconds. Gotta focus. Yes, no, understandable. Don't blame you, Dembliss. But here we go. We should be racing as soon as Astro catches up, which is not going to be too much longer now. He's 7.7 seconds away from the pack. And this is... well, if you feel this has been a long race, there is still 27 laps to go. There is still a long way. You have got a 50% on average, you have got a half distance Grand Prix to come, which in leagues is usually the average length here. Of course, on most leagues I commentate on most nights, it's usually a half distance Grand Prix, but otherwise this is going to be a very, very long stint here, as now the safety car is called in. Let's go silent. JP, let's get underway again, and let's hope for 27 laps of clean, fair racing. And we are back underway. JP calls it a little earlier than he did last time. 6/10 already to the to his teammate, I should say. As now DGH, well, is going to be looking to stay within that 12-second window. 27 laps, anything can happen. Can JP get that buffer that he needs without incurring any more track limit penalties? Dembliss already down the inside into turn 1, and Red Bull using the outside. Dembliss giving the room, but then fights back through turn 2, but that momentum just won't go in his way, as Astro there looked like I thought he had a moment, and Astro has left. Another one bites the dust here in Montreal, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers. But wait, there's been even more. Oh, there's a Haas round as well. He points in the right direction, but Matt Connor on 4 lap all mediums has gone round again, and now MCL and DGH fight for second place, and MCL through round turns 8 and 9, and at the hairpin of turn 10, well, MCL with free real estate to battle JP, but another pit stop is surely coming the way, and MCL here has turned an absolute disaster into absolute greatness. MCL having another memorable drive here, of course, has really benefited from the chaos around him. And we'll see what happens, but JP at the moment will be beaten by Quincy as things stand right now. Quincy going to the end on those hard tyres, as he's got Dan Lovett behind as well. We just saw something happen as well. So 9 drivers now in this race. And of course, we didn't have the safety car because, remember, we've already had 4 safety cars, if you can believe it. And we're not even nearing the end of this Grand Prix in the largest picture. We still have 26 laps to go. And at the moment, this has been a rather long Grand Prix. And Dan Lovett now is trying to really make as many positions as he can. Just to give you an idea, 6 seconds in post-race penalties. So needs 6 seconds to JP to get any sort of result. But, of course, Dan Lovett on hard tyres, but looks like he's got the pace over Quincy to the inside. Through 8 and 9. Does Quincy fight this back? Yes, he does. And fair and valid racing from those two. That's what you want to see. Quincy and Dan showing the people how it is done. That is how you fight through those 2 sections. And that was on the edge of your seat racing there. But great racing all the same, as now the Red Bull of Matt Tudor went and cooked it through turn 10. But now, on the exit, he has He has the momentum, and is he going to think about a move on Dan Lovett going down into this corner? Potentially, but no, backs out of it and goes very wide there thanks to the dirty air, but now the momentum's been ruined as Templess tries to find some room, forces the Red Bull into a defensive maneuver. They're going to go side by side onto lap 46 out of 70, and that is going to be the Red Bull holding on, but now Matt Connor will try and fight this one as well, but nowhere to go as Hash there in the background with a 33-second penalty post-race there. Not really involved in this, and DGH with a penalty as well. So now it is MCL with the potential to win this race, and Quincy now is fighting for a genuine second place. What a fortunes turn around in the blink of an eye. The Red Bull now is the still second to last driver to be on the board for post-race penalties, as MCL now is going to try something on JP. JP cuts him off, and now through the hairpin of turn 10, well, it's going to be momentum on the Kick Sauber's side as Quincy is just too far back, 1.4 seconds already, so Dan Lovett might think about having a go by 4 turn 1, but now the Kick Sauber to the outside as JP accidentally touches the Kick Sauber, and that is him through, but now Kick JP with another penalty, and that is a 3 seconds, another 3 seconds added on, so that's 15 seconds added on to his time now. Oh, JP there, what is he doing? Trying to force room where there isn't any, and he now has to think about visiting his alien overlords, and there's contact between the Red Bull and the gas. There, this is turning into more chaos. Oh, goodness me, more contact, and I don't know if JP was really anticipating the Red Bull to be alongside there either, as how Quincy is saying, hello people, how are you doing? As well, Dan Lovett says the same, but then Matt Tudor, the 8 drivers are now within the same field, and MCL is is in the lead of everybody. He's showing out these 8 drivers how you drive Montreal, and MCL, wowee, as now DGH is now trying to look down the inside of JP, but JP is not afraid to fight back. You saw him nearly spin round the Kick Sauber, and then you nearly saw him spin round the Red Bull in consequence, and Quincy now has DRS on the exit of the hairpin. But what have we seen tonight? And it's not over yet, and we'll have 23 laps at the line to decide how these 9 drivers will decide. Hash is very much out of the preceding series, not on the pace, and there's 30 seconds in post-race penalties. I believe if he gets another one, that will be the end of his evening, and he will be disqualified. So he will go ahead of Melja, as Astro was disqualified actually as well. I'm trying to remember what for. There, that one's eluding me a little bit. As now, well, Quincy, after a mistake on the exit, has now allowed Dan Lovett through, and now, well, things reset again. JP hasn't allowed the Kick Sauber of MCL to get away, but now Dan Lovett is looking at a podium and is, well, looking at 3rd place now, but Quincy needs to keep within 3 seconds to the Mercedes as well. He's not going to allow Dan to get away that easily, but of course Quincy needs to watch out for Matt Tudor behind him as well, who Red Bulls are going to be scoring very high tonight. That's all I can tell you. As Hash gets another penalty, that should be the end of his race, unless if there's a 10-second penalty that I've forgotten about. But otherwise, disaster strikes for the Aston Martin. I think surely that is okay. So we still have Hash in the race for the time being. 33 seconds added on to his time, surely at any moment, as now JP on side by side with MCL gets the move done, and MCL there just trying to fit his way back onto the racing line as the Red Bull there very late on the brakes, right up to the back of the Kick Sauber car. No swaps have happened for a few laps now, so everything just starting to settle down, and for the final 22 laps this should be the race. There's now JP with another penalty, 18 seconds added on to his time. So there's going to be oh no, as there is Matt Tudor there in the wall, as there we go, I say oh no, and there's MCL just trying to hold on to the positions. Goodness me, as the Red Bull of DGH wants to fight back here, as Dan Lovett through to 3rd. Of course, all on a technicality. MCL, can he keep it between the white lines throughout the rest of this race is the only real question. The 5 cars here have checked out from Matt Connor behind, who was also, and there's going to be moves. Oh no! Quincy breaks late and goes right into the back, and there we go. We've had the disqualification from Hatch, and DGH is weaving across the track. This is crazy racing, as Hash is eventually disqualified. What is going on? There's There's more contact in the background. MCL and the Red Bull coming together, and there's more contact. This is absolute chaos. What on earth is going on here? Caution in Sector 3. As Hash leaves the session for obvious reasons, as there's more battling between the Red Bull and the Kicksauber. This is descending into an absolute nightmare. Bow 13, what am I watching? A nightmare for an admin or a steward. And there's a caution in Sector 1 for a spun round Williams, who's now got more damage. Do that front wing. Den Bliss down to 7th, I think. Oh, no, he's actually just spun round. No, it's okay. Sorry, force of habit. As Dan Lovett has gone away in all of this. Dan Lovett is now 2.3 seconds down the road, so we missed something there. MCL, I think, is starting to show a bit of frustration. That did not look like the normal line through the corners, as now JP is squeezing the Kicksauber. And JP through as, oh my goodness me. This is getting worse. This descending into, this descended into nightmare territory a long time ago. Only 8 out of the 16 drivers are still racing, and Quincy forced to pit after brake checking. Well, no, not brake checking, braking late into the back of one of the drivers. And, oh, goodness me. There was all sorts of chaos that unfolded in those last couple of laps, and JP can't make his mind up if he wants to visit his alien overlords or not. Only 8 out of the 16 drivers are on course to finish. Dash there with more penalties than I could count is disqualified, and Hayes there says, think the DQ was ignoring the safety car rules. Fair enough. There is MCL still on track to win this, but now JP is causing a hold-up here. MCL not being allowed the room to get through. As I just need to finish off one message here. Oh, my, oh no! Oh no! Matt Connor and DGH make contact! And there is more drama to add on to this Canadian Grand Prix. And what is going on? The red mist continues to descend, and now we're in. It's become a nightmare to a fever dream. The state, what a define insanity is expecting a different result with the same approach or something like that. Trying the same thing and expecting a different result. There you go. That's the actual saying. And that is what's happening here. More contact as DGH forced to pit again. And there is so much work to do. Oh, it's piling up there. It's like the end of your shift and your boss just comes in and puts a pile of papers on there. And it's like, well, gotta have these done tonight. Oh my god, the definition of science is to try and keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different outcome. Thank you, Bo. That's the actual saying there. Of course, in the desperation of commentary, you can't always think of the saying as there's more contact between the Haas and the Kicksauber. I'm actually not able to, there's certain times where I just cannot look. And I'm just too afraid of the outcome. As now we are going to see these two have gone hammer and tongue. They've allowed Dan to get away. Dan Kick lost this week. He has. You are correct. His end plate has gone on the right-hand side. And now where's Matt Tudor come from? Where has Matt Tudor come from? Where is this going? Oh my goodness me. So MCL with the DRS should get that move done rather comfortably. But JP finds... Oh no! Oh, not again! As MCL is spun round! Oh, not again! Every single lap as, oh my goodness me! What on earth? What on earth? We just saw 2 questionable acts of driving in the space of 1 corner on the same lap. What is going on in Montreal? Cuts the corner. An F1 car is not a rallycross car, I can promise you that. Oh, God. What is going on? What's Dan's time penalty? 6 seconds to JP's 18 seconds. Oh, goodness me. What is going on here? Aye. Does that make that 9 seconds now? Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Right. Anyway, how long have we been live? 1.5 hours. That's about right. Hope you're having a good time. Hope you're enjoying this. I'm high on something, and I don't know what I'm high on. Oh my goodness. I am not sure what I am doing. I know what I'm doing. No, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Hang on. Let's bring focus back to the race for the time being. Quincy up to 5th place there. Oh my Connor, one of the cleanest moves I've only seen 3 races. This has definitely been the best one. Okay, MCL still without a penalty as of right now, despite everything that has gone on. There is 17 laps to go. And, yeah, that's happening. As though we're about to see an overtake for 3rd place here. MCL on Matt Tudor. DRS not open for the Kicksauber here as he approaches the final couple of turns here. How many will finish? Answers in chat. Take bets now. I wish I could set up a poll here, but I can't, and I don't think there's any moderators on this channel at the moment. 6 drivers. Welcome into Indianapolis 2005. Welcome back. Wait, or was that 5 drivers? No, it was 6 because there was only 3 teams on the Bridgestone that year. So Indianapolis 2005. Welcome on in. 12 seconds now between Dan Lovett and Kick JP, or She Loves JP. I have faith in the last insurance. Blind faith. Oh, goodness me. Matt Tudor has somehow found his way into 3rd position. Don't think he's going to keep it. 9 seconds. Yeah, that's a bit of an ask, if I'm being honest with you. Quincy is also fast approaching this. If they will all finish. I sure hope so. I'm gonna, if anything happens, I'm blaming you, Hayes, okay? So, do you accept full responsibility if 1 or 2 of these drivers don't finish? Do you accept that? Because you're gonna have to, from what you've said. As at the moment, I will take the full blame. Thank you, Hayes. Anyway, hey, MCL here with DRS down the start-finish straight. As now, while they're all catching up to the back of JP. JP not afraid to fight with all the other drivers. And we'll see what happens, because now Matt Tudor is going to get a bit of face full of JP in a few moments' time. Crazy dirty race this. Zipper. Zipper? Zapiper? Sorry about that, Zapiper. Hello there. Welcome onto the stream. How are you doing? I hope you're okay. My sanity might need a bit of checking, but I'm all right as... Oh, goodness me, Tudor, please don't. Thank you. Don't do that. And now MCL... Goodness me. As now Quincy's going to try, go around the outside at that kick. He gets that done, but is the Red Bull going to fight that back? That was very close to contact. Luckily, everything's okay. And now, Quincy is going to get DRS. And now down this casino straight, aka Louis Vuitton straight. We are now going to go side by side. And that is Quincy up into 3rd place. And now, 2nd place is on the cards for the Alpine driver. But he is about to get a full face of JP. JP not afraid to fight, as we just said on the last lap. And now... we are going to see some crazy action here in Montreal yet again. And oh, goodness me. And now MCL still is checked out because he did not pit yet. He's going to have to pit again, I am sure. He's going to try and go onto the soft tires for the end. Quincy will have to pit again because reasons, being tire wear is very bad on those softs. So we'll see what happens here. Matt Tudor with a 3-second penalty. for track limit violations and 12 seconds added onto his time. And that is one for Matt Connor. Another 3 seconds. That is 18 seconds. Goodness me, that is a lot of time. As now Quincy is right on the back of Shelvius JP. She loves JP even. Yeah, that is the name. I promise you that. As now second place here is going to be up for grabs. No, make contact, please. Let's now Quincy up into second place. Oh, goodness me, I didn't want to see another one. Promise you that. As now there is even more contact. Well, there was a little bit of contact between them, but JP riding the line of aggression here. As I'm probably going to get a lot of remarks here for my commentary noises. There is, I am just expecting so much coming the way, so much coming out of this, and I cannot begin to. I don't think I'm even going to bother dissecting this race. There has just been so much. I don't know where I'd begin. I'm going to be here for like a full hour after the race, just analysing what the heck was going on. More contact between JP and Quincy. JP is on the side of aggression tonight. Of course, your regular commentator really showing some colours here tonight that I would never have expected from the usual NRRL commentator. Side by side into the hairpin of turn 10. It is just... You gotta wince, and if you wince, it looks good. Just wince instead. I promise you that. And now, coming into the final couple of turns. Well, of course, JP will, of course, have another bout of DRS, because remember, 1 detection point classifies for 2 activation points. And there he goes. That's JP back into second place for now. JP really riding that line of aggression and fairness. And MCL is just nowhere to be seen. I don't think he'll be taking his second win in a row, so he will have to settle for 4th place, which is where he qualified last week. So I guess swings and roundabouts for the Kick Sauber there. But 8 drivers in this race, and 8 drivers looking to finish. Den Bliss right at the back here as DGH on for a battle with Matt Connor here. Matt Connor on the far older tyres, 12 laps between them. Can that Red Bull take those softs to the end as Quincy gets a 3-second penalty for track limit violations? What is going on up ahead? Hang on a moment. We will cut back to that battle between DGH and the Haas. I think we might be about to see something, though, as that Haas driver gets the worst exit. Oh, my goodness me, squeezing the Red Bull all the way. And oh, no, there has been something. Quincy has been spun round. We missed something there. Hopefully, there was no contact between them. What? Yay! More spinning Arama. You spin me right round like contact with an F1 car right round. And MCL is up into 3rd place as Quincy. I mean, he's not the only driver to have seen the red mist tonight. And he won't be the last as he corner cuts, gets a 10-second penalty as a Red Bull has crashed into the wall of champions. DGH brings out VSC number 1. And Den Bliss is into the pits. No small safety cars. We've already had the 4. And what is... You know what? I said I haven't seen a race like this in a long time, but I've never seen a race like this, full stop. I am scared. I'm even scared of the admins tonight. I'm scared of what they're gonna say. Genuinely. I say genuinely, but I'm trying to make light of a really bad situation here. As well, we still have the 8 drivers trying to finish this. Oh, what the hell? Oh my goodness me! With one of the most dramatic crashes I've ever seen on this game! Quincy goes flying literally into turn 10 and says, I've had enough! I have seen it all now. I have seen the light of a flying F1 car on this game. It happens once every year, and I hear it brings you good luck. So maybe that's something to take away from this. But now, from 7 drivers finishing this race, and I think there was contact between Quincy and another driver. And that, wait, no, 5th, what? 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 Safety car number 5? Safety car number 5? Huh? What? What? Huh? What? 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 Huh? Okay. That's the thing now. Okay. Safety car number 5. And 7 drivers. I mean, it makes sense considering what we just saw. Don't get me wrong, I'm not faulting the logic. I've never seen 5 safety cars in one race. I can officially say now, on stats and visual quality, I have never seen anything like this in my life. This is... Take a deep breath, fella. Get your words out. Okay. So, Dan Lovett into the pits again for a fresh set of soft tyres. MCL in prime position to win this race. No penalties on the kick Sauber. So all the advantage swings MCL's way. And now we are going to see a 7-car finish in NRRL. Has there been another race like... If anybody in chat who has been watching NRRL since its inception, has there been a race like this one? I highly doubt it. But at the same time, I need to see what's going on in that Discord. This is too spicy not to get a post-race interview. Can I get a word with someone? I am speechless. I cannot believe what we have seen tonight. Wowee is all I can say. Can we try and have words? Hang on. I'm gonna be brave, chat, and ask Quincy for a word. I'm gonna be very brave. Gonna be very, very brave. I'm gonna be very brave. Gonna put my heart on the line. I will see if we can get a word with somebody. And well, someone has joined us. Quincy, what a way to end the race. I don't know really where to begin, but I guess the best thing to do is just start with thoughts, feelings, opinions.
It's just a pretty frustrating race, Dave, honestly, from beginning to end. Lap 1, someone spins me. It's a 70-lap race. People have no race etiquette. And that's not going against the league, but, you know, the driving standards today have just been awful. People moving under braking. I've replaced about 3 wings, and that's not me crashing into the walls. That's just people moving under braking and taking more wings with them. So at the end, when you're replacing your wing and you're fighting through the field, and you've got someone who's got 27 seconds of penalties, nothing to fight for, you've got through, and they want to play silly games like braking on apexes and stuff like that. I just saw red, that's all. So I'll accept any ban from the league and whatnot. I expect to be severely punished for that, but I just had enough of today. So apologies for you and the stream as well, to anyone watching.
I think you're the last person that needs an apology, because there's been, like, you know, around you there's been 7 drivers. We are just restarting safety car now. So one last question from me. Just throughout tonight, what's been the general vibe in the VC?
It's been very quiet. Load of people left after they crashed, but yeah, it's been very quiet. Very quiet.
Understandable. Quincy, I'll leave you alone just to... how does he sound so calm? So from Hayes there, but I'll leave you to answer that in the Discord. Thank you, Quincy.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care. Okay, well, Quincy, very, very calm indeed. Very composed very quickly, but yeah, very quiet in the VC tonight, as he says now, as MCL takes the lead of the Grand Prix. And, well, up 5 positions for a 7-lap sprint race to the end. Let's just get penalty numbers on the screen. 7 drivers out of 16 will only finish this race. And now, well, there's been a bunch of swapping. JP there with 27 seconds in track limit penalties. And now we are hopefully going to come to the end of this, and I think there'll be a big sigh of relief from just about JP there with another 3-second penalty. And Bliss says thank you very much, and JP falls to the back as Matt Tudor now tries and catch up. And I think there's been a, well, 23 lap hold. Oh, the Red Bulls did not even bother to pit under safety car either. I think they've just seen the penalty gaps and just said, why bother? Can you blame them? As now race 60, MCL just slows right down as MCL has left. Disconnect, I think, because he's still racing and he hasn't been grayed out on the timing tower. So MCL now, who had the win, is going to lose it. What a guy, even said take care at the end. Chat says Hayes. Chat to Hayes. MCL has disconnected and is going to lose the win of this Grand Prix. Another twist in what has been an absolutely chaotic tale. Quincy said it himself, the driving standards have not been up to the level that NRRL expects, and now Bliss, it could be on for a podium as MCL joins back in, down to 6th place. Heartbreak for the Kicksauber now, as actually he could still do it. I apologize. As long as he gets going now, he can still do it. 5 at the line. And I can hear the birds chirping. That is how quiet it is on track, as now Kick and the Red Bull go side by side. Matt Connor with a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. As now MCL is down to 7th place, but he can still win this. That's the thing. There is so many penalties. As there's apparently now MCL leads. He doesn't. I promise you that glitch with the timing tower. Okay, the timing tower is glitched out at the moment. That is not where MCL is, I promise you that. That will sort itself out once we approach the timing line of Sector 1. As there we go, MCL's position is now readjusted. The gap should reset, and Bliss now is on for a fight. And actually, is he on for the win? Yeah, he still is. As he needs to get make-up time now, though. As, goodness me, what on earth is going on? JP there cuts the entire corner. And as well, his driving standards are called into question here. He's not the only one, though. Let's just be real about this. As now MCL with a missing front wing, in fact, with 2 missing end plates here, a lot of drivers have lost their cool tonight. And Matt Connor now with a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. He's up to 24 seconds. And at the moment, who has the fewest track limit penalties? That goes to MCL, but can Dan Lovett hold on? I think he can hold on for a podium, but that's it. 3rd place for what will be the Drivers' Champion at the end of this race, whatever happens, and Constructors' Championship. Probably will need to give him the bad news sooner. Oh no! Matt Connor is in the wall at turn number 4. And he's gone! He's gone! He retires, and it's safety car number 6! Safety car number 6 is out! What? How do you analyze a race like this? Indianapolis 2005 says hello. And more misery for the 6 drivers now who are going to have their evenings overextended. We might have to keep podium interviews very short. We are approaching 10 p.m. We should have been finished. If everything had gone to plan, we should be finished about half an hour, 20 minutes ago, maybe. But that is not happening tonight. We are going to extend for as long as possible. And of course, Quincy has had his words about the driving standards tonight. And I think even just looking at the timing tower, you can have a taste of what's happened here tonight. I don't think I can really say anything further that will be of any use to anybody. as drive-through penalty for Matt Tudor for speeding under safety car there. Has to serve that before the end of the race now. He is out of any kind of result now. Doesn't replace his front wing. And with that penalty, that just kind of seems pointless now. Goodness me. Well, have a drink tonight if you've been watching along with us. Once the race is done, of course, we will have 2 laps to go at the line. We will be underway whatever happens. Now, MCL will catch up and is surely guaranteed the win on this one. But I think a big sigh of relief is going to come over, and I will at least take an interview with the champion, which will be Dan Lovett, as now Virtual Race Control will be calling in the safety car for the final time tonight. We've had the full 6 safety cars. If you are enjoying this, follow along. Please, at least make some of our suffering worthwhile. Subscribe if you wanna. Oh, you want more chaos, do you? Follow if you wanna. This hasn't been enough for you. I don't know if that's directed at me or directed at Mo, but we are now under restart conditions again. And 6 drivers are going to take you through the final 2 laps of what is going to happen. JP has been rather aggressive. Den Bliss now could be looking at a result, but 15 seconds means that he is really out of any sort of running. MCL is surely taking the top spot. Like we said, he's got the fewest in penalties, has not pitted at the moment, but is currently in that really interesting age with the tyres. JP is not really going to keep up, as now DGH down the inside of turn 3. Oh, no, 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 no. No, goodness me. What is going on here? More drama added up, and JP is forced off the road in rage and frustration. Insane race. Absolutely from Howski there, 1982. And this is just been insane. Crowley Krowski there. I hope I've said your name correctly. Welcome on into NRRL. I promise you, not every time. One guy has no pens, and that goes to MCL as JP now comes back at the Red Bull. I don't know what to say anymore. Oh, no. Down the side-by-side here. Please don't. Thank you. As now, DRS enabled for the final lap of the Grand Prix. And a relief. And as soon as these 6 drivers finish, a cloud of relief will come over everybody, as this chaotic wreckfest will be over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drivers will not finish this race in a 16-car field. MCL is your winner, whatever happens. And DGH and Shell, She Loves JP, are going to do battle for one last time, and I don't think it's going to be pretty. We will need to look at this anyway, as now the Red Bull is going to try down the inside, going into 8 and 9. No dice there for the Red Bull. And now, going into the hairpin of turn 10. What's going to happen here? No drama from DGH at all, as he pushes the Haas through the corner. Dan Lovett, though, is going to be coming home in a league that he created. And now, maybe not in the style he would have wanted. Not only is he going to be Constructors Champion, he is Drivers Champion in the Friday division. He won't win, but he'll come in 2nd place as MCL wins for the 2nd week in a row. And Shelvius will not keep that 3rd position. I think that's actually gone to DGH there, as I get another invite from somebody there, but I don't know who that is. MCL deserved that. I full on agree with that. Driver of the day for me, by far and away, as MCL there on the top step of the podium. Take a breath. It's over. The podium celebrations begin. DGH, I think it was DGH in 3rd there, but even I don't know. There was so much in that race. I can't really take that in all at once, and I've never seen anything like that in my life. Congratulations to Dan, of course, on the championship. Fought hard for that one. but not in the style he would have wanted, I don't think. We'll now confirm. Driver of the day goes... I don't agree with that one little bit. No, not Matt Tudor. Sorry, I don't... Respectfully, I don't agree with that. That goes to MCL by far and away. Quincy with the fastest up of the race winner MCL, who also takes my personal driver of the day. Most overtakes from Dan, as well as being the cleanest driver. Your top three are MCL, Dan Lovett, who is your champion for not only the constructors and the drivers, DGH in third, Dan Bliss fourth, Kick Shelby, She Loves JP fifth, sixth, Matt Tudor, Matt Connor, your last non-finisher, and your 10 non-finishers, Matt Connor, Quincy, Noah, Mikey Boy, Mr. Jabe, Josh, No Grip, Meldrum, Hash, and Astro. How do you analyze a race like that? I don't have a clue. I don't know what on earth to call that. There are just some races which go beyond words. And well, a lot of emotions, a lot of frustrations are going to be boiling over. I think it is best if we skip the post-race interviews for this one and allow the admins to do their thing. Because I don't think it's going to be appropriate to just pull the drivers to one side for the evening. Unless, if that is something Dan wants. But I think a lot of words will have to be had outside of everything. And I think it's just best if we call it there for tonight. I'll take it, but it wasn't me, driver of the day, M. Tudor. The driver, even Matt Tudor even is aware there. Welcome on into the stream, by the way. It has, it's been a race from this commentary box. I will say that for free. I've never seen anything like it, and there's going to be a lot of work to do. Well, we're going to call it there. Oh, wait, we are going to have a little bit of a word with Dan Lovett. Dan, there is a lot to dissect from that race. As per the commentary box, even I could tell that was not really the championship race you would have wanted. But either way, congratulations on the championship for Season 1. And how are you feeling about that on that side of things?
I think mixed emotions, to be honest. Yeah, a bit upset, a bit sort of obviously happy to have got it done tonight. I didn't really want it to go into next week, but obviously would have liked, more than half the grid to finish the race alongside me. Yeah, I mean, obviously I've not seen everything as yet. I've seen and heard bits and pieces, but yeah, just a little bit disappointed.
Understandably so. I've got to. My heart goes out to you tonight, as I've said many times tonight. It's very difficult to kind of find words after a race like that, but I kind of want to talk about your season as fair as possible because, you've had an absolutely fantastic season. Just looking back over your stats, you've had the podium more times than not. You had on a 4-in-a-row streak during the season, and now you've put another podium together. You've had an amazing season in this Friday division. You've got to be proud of that at the very least.
Yeah, I'm happy. Obviously, questionable. We're in realistic cars. Was that car too quick? But I think there was so much chop and change throughout the season with drivers. It wouldn't have really mattered. I think a lot of it was I turned up for every race, to be honest with you. Whereas a lot of drivers were coming in and through the season, so weren't picking up a lot of the points they would have got if they'd been there all the time. So that helped me. I'll say yeah. I mean, listen, I've done what I had to do, but yeah, just a bit sad at the end there to sort of end it the way it did, and with one or two people in the VC to see me over the line was a little bit gutted.
Absolutely, and obviously now we do have to address the elephant in the room. Of course, tonight, as I've already said, not the way you would have wanted to have it done there. Of course, it ended up being, out of the 16 drivers, 6 people only finished that race. And is there any early words you want to put on the broadcast tonight that, of course, will be reiterated, as I'm sure, in an announcement in the coming couple of days?
I think for me, Canada's a tough track, right? We know that the track limits, the tight corners, and so I understand that, and I feel for some people tonight. I certainly hit somebody at some stage. But things happen, and listen, the only way you pick up points in 100% realistic leagues is by finishing races, and those races, you know, even if you finish in middle of the pack over the course of a season, add up. You know, you can finish in the top 3, 4, 5 people, and I think just the attitude of that needs to change across the league. It's in fairness to us, that has probably only ever happened once before in the early days of the league. So I'm hoping it's a freak of nature. But yeah, look, we're going to have to speak to everybody and up our game, because that sort of thing can't be happening. It's not fair.
Mm-hmm. Dan, I'm not really going to keep us very long. We've overrun like crazy with the safety cars, so you've got work to do, and I've got a stream to sign off. So, Dan, I'll speak to you in a bit off stream, and yeah, we'll just take it from there.
Yeah, okay. Thanks very much, Dave. Cheers.
You're welcome. Bye-bye for now. Oh, with that, I don't think it's really... we've spoken to the winner, and... well, I think we're just best leaving it there. Guys, we will be back next week for another race. Hopefully a lot cleaner than last time. Well, a lot cleaner than tonight, I should say. Yeah. That was one of the most chaotic races in this league. Just in case you've got and missed all of that, the Williams... to Bliss... Actually, I've just seen that message that was withheld from Automod. The Williams was a bit of a crap box. I think you know what was said though, and it wasn't crap. So, well, one last week of racing. Of course, Dan here is your confirmed champion. Mercedes are now constructors champions as well. That is all now confirmed. Penalties to be handed out though, and I am sure long stern words in this league will be had before the next race. Of course, JP is going to be back with you tomorrow night. Dan didn't win, but because of points differences, because because 3 drivers in that championship failed to finish on points difference alone, he is champion. And with Rendog not attending next week, that's it. Drivers' Championship is over now. So it's on points difference. Got MCL on the interview. Get MCL on the interview. I don't think... I tried to get him last week, but he didn't come in. So I think he's got other places to be, I'm afraid. But yeah, Dan, you're winner of the Drivers' Championship, but no sign of MCL, I'm afraid. So we are going to conclude the broadcast there for the evening. Thank you all so much for watching, and from wherever you may be in the world, myself and everybody at the Nitro Realistic Racing League wish you a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Stay safe, stay alive. We will see you next week. Well, JP will be with you tomorrow and for the other races throughout that week, but I will see you next Friday for more action from the Friday 100% race. Bye-bye for now.